Hello students, let's do the problem and it says for us to solve. So in this case, we're gonna solve for r. That's the variable that I see on my equation. So I need to find the value for r, okay? Now, if you look at my equation, I do see variables on both sides, okay? And I do see decimals, right? Not fractions, at least, right? So what I need to do is I need to make sure that all my variables are on the same side. So what I'm going to start with is, of course, I want to always remove the smallest variable, right? Which in this case is 2.3 r. So I'm going to subtract 2.3 r on both sides. Okay? Because remember, whatever you do on one side, you do it to the other side. 3.2 minus 2.3 r gives me a 0.9 r plus 7.2 equals, and of course my 2.3r minus 2.3r, it's 0, so it disappears, and I ended up with 10.8. Okay, now notice how in the step that I just did, I have r, or the variable r, only on the left side, which is good because that's what I want to do. I want to leave r by itself. So the next step is, of course, I need to remove the 7.2, which is my constant, right? And the opposite of a plus 7.2 is minus 7.2. And remember, whatever I do on one side, I do it to the other side. Okay? So my 0.9 r is still there. I haven't done anything. And of course, 7.2 minus 7.2 is 0. So I don't need to write down the 0. And on the right side, I have 10.8 minus 7.2, and I have 3.6 as an answer. Okay? Now, notice how my r is still on the left, but it's just next to my coefficient 0.9, right? So the next step is I need to remove the 0.9, my coefficient, which is multiplying the r. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. Therefore, I'm going to divide both of them by 0.9. Okay? So 0.9 divided by 0.9, it doesn't make a 0, it makes a 1. And we all know that 1r is the same as just r by itself. Is that right? So I can write down only the r. And 3.6 divided by 0.9 gives me a positive 4. So I got the value for r already, which is right here. Okay? So remember, this is very important for us to know. We don't need to write down the 1 if we don't want to. And no, we're not done. Guess what we're going to do? Of course, we're going to check, right? One of the things that I recommend you to do is always check your work, okay? There's no need for you guys to get a question like this wrong just because we're not checking if the r is in reality equals to a 4. So notice how my equation, I wrote it down, and I'm going to come back, and now I'm going to write it down again, but instead of the r, I'm going to write down a parenthesis. Because remember, 3.2 is multiplying the variable r. Therefore, a parenthesis means multiplication. And 2.3 is also multiplied by the r. Write down parentheses and write down the rest. And guess what I'm going to write on my parentheses? Of course, I'm going to write down the 4. Because remember that 4 is actually the value for r. So if that's the value for r, then I replace it with a 4. Okay, let's continue. 3.2 times 4 is equals to 12.8 plus 7.2 equals, on the right side, 2.3 times 4, it's 9.2 plus 10.8. Okay, let's add them up. And on the left, I get a 20. And on the right, I also get a 20. So if I get the same value on both sides of the equation, then that means that r equals to a 4. It is actually my answer.